Hunt or be hunted. One of the out-of-the-box features for World of Warcraft in the upcoming expansion Midnight is called Prey. This comes alongside everything else within the expansion, from the new playable Heronir race to player housing to the new Demon Hunter Devourer spec, and of course new raids and zones. In this video I wanted to kind of dissect what Prey is exactly and go over my initial testing on the alpha servers and just share my thoughts. Prey is a new opt-in hunting system being added to World of Warcraft. This means if you don't want to partake in it, you don't have to. Also, while it sounds like a PvP kind of thing, it's definitely not. This is a PvE kind of exclusive system. I believe the new idea with this kind of Prey system is to add more flavor into the constantly recycled world quest pattern that we've seen for centuries, it feels like. So you're going to join the hunt by speaking to Magister Astelar Bloodswarm. I don't think I said that right, but that's okay. He's going to be located in Silvermoon's Undercity, which is called Murder Row. By joining the hunt, you're going to be given a simple objective: track down and kill your target. There are 3 different difficulties, including normal, hard, and nightmare. When getting started for the first time, you'll be eased in on normal difficulty, and Mr. Bloodsworn will teach you a few of the mechanics of the Prey system through a short questline. This involves disabling traps, interacting with Prey blood, and defeating any of these anomalies that you may encounter. Once you're ready, you're going to head out into the open world and begin tracking down your target. Or should I say Prey is probably what yeah, because that's the name of the system. Okay, we'll call it Prey, to track down your prey. I'm not sure what I was expecting with this system, but I wanted to dive just headfirst into it. So once I was ready to disembark, I opened up my map and I noticed that I had these 3 additional world quests marked with unique blood shard icons. These are world quests that are dedicated to the hunt specifically and directly contribute toward your progress. While partaking in any world content though, you're going to be contributing to the hunt for your prey. The general idea is that by completing these objectives, you're going to earn this artificial progress towards knowing the location of your prey. You're trying to find their hideout. While you're trying to complete these objectives, you'll have a chance to be ambushed by your prey, which will pursue you for either 1 minute or until they're brought down to 50% health. This can be manageable while fighting one-on-one, but can become quite hectic when you're facing multiple enemies. They may ambush you when you're just AFK staying on a road, or they might ambush you after you just pulled 6 mobs. Throughout my testing, I was trying to figure out what exactly is causing Prey to ambush me, but it seems fairly RNG, which I guess is the whole point of the system. It's supposed to add that kind of flavor and feeling of unknown. The world quests, though, are pretty simple. And they all seem consistent. Every time you have a new prey target, you're going to have the same 3 world quests in a zone. One of them is defeat enemies, another one is disabling these pylons, and one requires you to chase your prey, which is just objectively funny to watch an ogre in a diaper running away from you. Once you fill up this imaginary progress bar, your quest will notify you that the location of your prey is known. And then by opening up your minimap, you're going to see the location. Kind of side note, I think Blizzard needs to add some type of actual progress bar, because you don't know where you're at in your progress until you're done. So maybe that's just a feature they haven't added yet, but it would be nice to know. Also, I'm not sure if these enemy locations, the prey locations, are going to be static going forward, or if they're going to be random each week or each hunt. Facing off against the mini-boss wasn't too difficult either. When you activate this blood shard, you'll summon the mini-boss, and it'll actually kind of create this ring, almost like a boss arena around your character. I never tried leaving said ring, but I just thought it was a nice little touch. These mini-bosses have a few mechanics like interrupt this and dodge that. I guess it just feels like your average delve boss if I had to make any kind of comparison. After completing the after killing your prey or completing the hunt, I was able to then go and turn in my quest right away, just from where I was standing, which actually rewarded me with some simple adventure gear. It's not bad for, I guess, a normal quest, but there are additional difficulties, so I wanted to check those out as well. As you increase the difficulty, there's going to be these things that are added called torments. These are debuffs that are going to be applied to you in the open world. Torments seem to change based on if you're partaking in hard or nightmare difficulty, and they also seem to be based on the quest you're on. So different quests to hunt down certain prey will have different torments tied to them. Now, when I was doing this one on hard, I had 2 torments that were taking place. First, I had a ramping stacking damage taken increase, which was 2% per stack, and it was stacking 1 time every 60 seconds. So this kind of incentivizes you to find your prey before they find you, or essentially find your prey quickly, or you're going to end up taking like 30% more damage from everything, which could be problematic. On top of that, when you defeat enemies, blood pools drop beneath them, dealing damage to you if you stand in them, and honestly, this felt non-existent. So like my one thing, and this is weird for me to want to like buff mob abilities or like torments, but Blizzard needs to make these pools bigger and more lethal. Like standing in them did no damage to me, and they were so small that even if a mob died that I was attacking, being in melee range as a tank, it didn't even, like, I had to actively walk into the pool. So make them bigger. I think that would be a little bit more interesting. Outside of these torments, there was nothing different about this version, like hard. The boss had a couple mechanics, kick, dodge, and then it gave better gear, which was nice. This time we got rewarded some veteran gear, which is the same level loot as Raid Finder, which I honestly, I think is just like a nice incentive for alts or like early gearing. Where things get really interesting is the Nightmare difficulty. I feel like this one was made for me. So this time we have multiple different torments that are going on. Similar to the hard version, we have a ramping damage taken increase, but this time it's doubled. So it's 4% damage taken per stack. On top of that, a blood spirit occasionally will spawn and will fixate you. If you happen to connect with it, it'll deal near lethal damage, so you want to be really careful with this. You either need to run away, kite it out, or if you actually interrupt or CC it, it'll also cancel the fixate. Any BFA enjoyers out there will remember the Thing from Beyond. It's kind of like that. Actually, it is that. It's just red instead of purple. When you become the prey on this difficulty, so when the thing you're hunting down pops up and ambushes you, you're going to get stunned. That seems to be regularly consistent with all the Nightmare bosses that I tested, which can be problematic if you have accompanying torments along with, you know, world quest mobs that you're attacking. Another thing I forgot to mention are that like the traps, this is like kind of this is off topic, but not really. The traps that you kind of learn to disarm in the intro quest, you'll see them throughout the zone. And if you successfully disarm a trap, you're going to actually gain that trap as an item that can be used to counter an ambush. This can be super helpful if you find yourself like taking on too many enemies. So it'll basically knock the ambush, you know, enemy down to 50% health, making them flee immediately, which is like a nice little flavor to these quests and to the system as a whole. So like I said, personally, for me at least, the Nightmare difficulty I think is so good. The first Nightmare prey I hunted down felt pretty easy, and I was rewarded with some champion level gear, which is going to be pretty enticing for I think most players, whether you're someone who just does world content, you're a normal raider, you're someone who likes Mythic Plus, or you're alts. Champion level gear is the same as normal raid. I also enjoyed the gameplay loop enough to actually want to do it again, so I ended up tracking down a couple more Nightmare prey in both Zolaman as well as the Voidstorm. The one in Zolaman was like a little weird because I was only rewarded with some crafting reagents and no loot. But again, I don't know if all prey is supposed to reward gear or if this is like a placeholder on alpha. The final Nightmare prey I actually hunted down in the Voidstorm was something else. This shit got so hard. And the first thing I didn't realize is that going AFK is going to get you killed. I kind of forgot about the kind of like Thing from Beyond, and I was busy petting my dog and didn't realize that it would one-shot me. On top of that, your damage taken increase ramps, just whether you're AFK or not. So by the time I got back, I was already taking 12% more damage. Also, I didn't read all of the torments, not realizing that there's different ones. So this time I would randomly start bleeding heavily for like a prolonged period of time, which also made some mobs difficult. And it also is hard because if it procced while I was flying from, you know, location to location, I would have to land and heal myself or use the defensive. So this kind of thing is, I didn't expect it to be this engaging. You have to be kind of locked in all of the time. Now the quests do say if you're in a sanctuary zone, basically like a hub of some sort, it disables the prey mechanics. But basically at any point you're in the open world, all of the stuff is going to be active. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, if you die during your prey progress, you're going to lose some of that progress to finding your prey's location, which means you have to partake in it longer, which obviously with certain torments might make it more and more difficult. So you're kind of on like a time limit. Eventually, though, I was able to hunt down and silence the Thornkeeper, and it was this hunt that I think had me hooked. I'm falling in love with the system already. So I have to say, I really enjoyed this new system. Personally, I think normal and hard difficulties are a little too dull. I think they're good for like the intro aspect of Prey, but I think Nightmare is where like the fun really lies. Genuinely, I think it's like the perfect system for making world content engaging for players like me. The torments are enjoyable. The added mechanics to like the normal boring world mobs are good. Being ambushed by a powerful creature is also a nice change of pace. Don't get me wrong, I think there's some great rare mobs and world bosses with added difficulty to keep players engaged, but this prey system creates a small sense of urgency. When you're completing world quests, you need to kind of be aware of the possibility that you're going to get ambushed by something that has actual mechanics and a lot of health. So for those who know me, I'm actually kind of a delve enjoyer. While I mostly focus my competitive side on Mythic Plus, I do enjoy the occasional world quest here and there, and I often partake in delves weekly because I think they're enjoyable solo content. Prey feels like an extension of delves. It's a great way to get players like into the world with flavor and intrigue while adding enticing rewards. I don't really have too many criticisms of the system up to this point. I like that they're taking kind of like systems from delves, like with difficult bosses. I like that they're kind of flipping the script on powerful enemies tracking you down. That kind of makes sense, and it's something that we've never really had throughout the history of World of Warcraft. We've always hunted down the big baddies. On top of that, and this is a side tangent, Legion Remix had this interesting system where you can opt in to make world mobs more difficult and have like added affixes. And they kind of, whether Legion took from, Midnight, or if the Prey system is taking from Legion Remix, I think it's a much better direction for just engagement and having another system you can progress and earn rewards from. So, reasons you may want to partake in Prey, this system. Well, first, I think for most players, gear is probably going to be the first reason. Beyond that, it also fills up your Great Vault, similar to Delves. It's going to reward up to heroic gear in your world quest slots, I guess. This is going to be a fantastic way to get alts geared, separate from like pugging raids or dungeons or doing delves, and it's probably a good thing early on to do as a player who's competitive and wants the best items. While you are tracking down Prey, you're also going to stumble upon these like Remnants of Anguish, which is a currency that can be used to purchase some, cool transmog and other goodies. There are also some reagent bags that provide more currencies that you can purchase from this vendor here. I forgot his name, Vidor, this robot man. And you're going to be able to purchase not only things like crests, but also like Voidlight Marls, which is another currency. You can purchase Remnants of Anguish to, get more transmog, and Coffer Key Shards to partake in other world events. Or I guess Coffer Keys are for delves and shit. So I think, yeah, makes sense. You can also find a lot of cool mounts and pets on this vendor as well, which again, all massive wins. On Alpha currently, most of your Prey targets that you can partake in are going to reward you with veteran and champion gear. Now, chances are this will change. I can't imagine you're going to get 4 champion pieces and 4 veteran pieces every week or whatever it ends up being. So this does seem like a placeholder, but if it doesn't change, this is going to be a great source of early season gear. Now, obviously it's RNG because it's like from a little chest, but you're going to be limited to at least 12 hunts per week from what I can tell, but again, who knows? I just tested this one day on Alpha, and I don't know how often they're going to reset. But with Alpha ending soon and this being the first week Prey was testable, I wanted to at least update you guys on what I kind of found so far after this first week of testing. All in all, I am pro Prey. That's such a weird, whatever. I think this system is a great addition, an improvement to world content, and I can't wait to collect all my cool little like shoulders, helms, and backpacks. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.